always gets me hyped. Like, I want to run through a wall, but I'm not going to because we got Hoop Streams heading into Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. I'm Cassidy Hubbard, joined by Richard Jefferson and Brian Windhorst, literally fresh off a plane. He landed at 2 p.m. at JFK. Brian, you have had quite the week. Tell us about your trip to Paris, and while you do so, we're going to share with people some of the pictures that were taken from Paris. So this was the flight. How was it?
Yeah. Everything was a great experience. I mean, this is a career one-off. I had to miss Game 7 of that Celtics Sixers series to go over there, but what an amazing opportunity to be with Victor Wembanyama. His whole night. That was me on the scooter. I fell over 5 seconds later. But to spend the night with Victor Wembanyama when he played a game, can you imagine that, RJ? You play a game and then at 2:30 in the morning the same night, go find out where you're playing in the lottery. It was a great experience for sure.
That was awesome to watch. Awesome to watch.
And we all found out that the San Antonio Spurs are going to get the opportunity to draft another generational talent. How do you see Victor Wembanyama fitting in with the Spurs organization, RJ?
I feel like he's a perfect fit. I think this was people were wondering, what's Greg Popovich going to do? Is he going to retire? Well, I think if Victor wouldn't be coming, I think you would see a closer retirement now. This breathes life into a Spurs organization that needed it. They made a decision last summer to trade DeJounte Murray to get some assets and really go for Victor. And, sometimes, when you play those cards, and look, the Spurs, when they got Tim Duncan, when they got David Robinson, sometimes you just got to be lucky, and they have.
Yeah, and Richard, as a user of the internet, I want to pitch to you some nicknames that we thought, may get trending for Victor Wembanyama. You tell us if it hits or not, because,
Okay.
The hype is real, but we need to know, the future of this player and what we're going to call him. So what do you think of the Victor Inflictor? No?
No.
Yeah?
No.
Okay.
No.
The Wem
no.
Slinger. The Wem Slinger?
The Web Slinger? No.
Okay. The Rifle Tower.
The Rifle Tower I like a lot because look, we got the Stifle Tower. We keep it there with
right.
we keep it. I know, I like it. I think it plays. You got the Stifle Tower, you got the Rifle Tower. One's a defensive juggernaut, one's an offensive juggernaut. I think that plays. I'm going to go with the Rifle.
What about the V-Dubs? I don't know what that means. Our crew came up with these.
You don't know what the V-Dubs is?
I mean,
okay. That's a Volkswagen,
VW.
so I don't think.
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, like VW. I don't think that plays. I'm gonna stick with the Rifle Tower. That's what I'm gonna call him.
This one you kind of probably have to see the Vrek with a V. The Vrek. Nope. Okay, we're gonna pass that. Too much explanation. Oh, the Vreek. My producer just said the Vreek. No, say even more so. Air Wemby. No. What are we doing?
Air Wemby's good, but hear me out. Nicknames sometimes. We can't, either you have them or you don't, or they come. Jason Tatum, he doesn't have a nickname. Jimmy Butler, he became Jimmy Buckets and playoff Jimmy and Himmy. But I'm just saying, all of these nicknames have they have been bestowed upon him based off of his greatness and his play. So sometimes we got to sit back and allow that to kind of play itself out to see what his nickname is going to be.
The last one, okay? Because LeBron already wanted to call him the Unicorn. But how about this one? The Cheat Code.
The cheat code is a very good one. Created player, cheat code. Those are things that plays. Look, I will say this. Let me get my little hot take on here really quick. I think a lot of people think he will be dominant early. I think he will not be dominant for 2 or 3 years. Doesn't mean he won't have a game with 6 blocks. Doesn't mean he won't have a game with 5 threes. But people don't understand what dominant means in this league. It means 82 games. You bring it every single day. And that takes a lot, especially for a player that, needs strength, needs that. Some people think he'll be 21-8-8. I'm going to shy away from that. I don't think Greg Popovich is going to push him and try and turn him into that guy immediately.
Now stay with me here. I know this sounds crazy. How about the nickname Wemby? Because that's what they call him there. When he makes a big play in a game, when he blocks a shot or when he hits a big three or makes a dunk, the whole crowd at his game, and there's small crowds, a 4,000-seat venue, they go, Wemby, Wemby. I know it doesn't sound like super creative, but
no,
I thought it was kind of cool. So,
sometimes it's
and by the way, he was working with a logo. It was an unofficial Nike logo, but they passed out hats with a little alien face with the word Wemby underneath it. The green face with the big eyes.
That's another one.
The alien.
That's what LeBron called him.
And but you know what? He kind of looks like Gumby, and that's not in a disrespectful way. So Wemby and Gumby. All right, I'm gonna move on. But check out Brian's article on the night that the Spurs won the #1 pick on ESPN.com, and his interview with Victor Wembanyama after the Spurs won that first pick. So the Spurs and the Nuggets both won on Tuesday, and we're counting down to Game 2 between the Lakers and Nuggets, and it was all Nuggets early behind a dominant Joker who reminded everyone of his MVP credentials, putting up 17 points, 17 boards, and 8 assists in just the first half, guys. Third quarter, more of the same for the Nuggets. Jokic, at the end of the third quarter, had a ridiculous shot over AD to the point where AD even had to recognize how absurd it was. Yes, what a shot by Joker. But then things started to get interesting in the fourth. The Lakers mounted a comeback, and all of a sudden, Lakers Twitter was awake as they saw themselves within 3 points in the fourth quarter. LeBron had a chance to tie it with 45 seconds left, but it was no good, and that would do it. Some fans on Twitter were not fans of LeBron's shot selection, but no matter. AD walked away with a 40-point night. Well, the Nuggets would hold on and survive Game 1, 132-126, behind Nikola Jokic's monster triple-double, 34 points, 21 rebounds, and 14 assists. And Richard, I want to start here. Since you're very familiar with how LeBron James handles the playoffs, what's it like for LeBron after a Game 1 loss in the playoffs?
You know what? He's just such a cerebral player that, for the most part, like, he's always trying to figure it out. And I think some of the confidence that you saw from the Lakers was just, they feel very, very confident about what they're doing and how they're going about things. And I think that's been the thing that I've been most impressed with, is that they still feel like a confident group. Now, should they? I don't know. I think today will tell us a lot about this series. But ultimately, he's constantly trying to figure things out. He's trying to put himself in the right position. And I think that's why he gets stronger as the series goes on.
And RJ, tell whoever is trying to call you right now that you're on live internet TV.
I'm trying. My wife is she's going to be in such trouble. I promise you.
just say,
hey, RJ, can you believe that they allow a camera in the training room like that? I am just as a side note, I am stunned. Sorry,
I think they, because during the finals they'll have cameras set up in the locker room, so maybe this is something
area?
This is outside in the hallway.
You're right. You're right. It's in the hallway.
This is in the
You're
hallway.
Right.
Yeah,
this
is
used to play for the Nuggets.
Bron gets his own table. Him and Mike Mancias, they get their own table. They get their own space.
I could watch Mancias just tape his ankle for 10 minutes. We can just be quiet. We'll just watch it.
But I know that the Lakers and Nuggets were watching film of Game 2 specifically in that fourth quarter, a lot over the last 2 days, just to see what type of adjustments they're going to make from the adjustments that happened in Game 1. A lot has been made of the Lakers putting Rui Hachimura on Jokic. Brian, how much do you think that adjustment's going to play in Game 2?
Yeah, I think we're kind of focusing on the wrong thing. The concept that there's a player that exists on the Lakers or anywhere in the league that is going to stop Jokic right now, that's not the case. And I think that's a little bit of a misnomer. What the Lakers did in the second half was put a bigger lineup in that could rebound better. It wasn't just the fact that Jokic was scoring. The guy is going to score. He's incredibly gifted and has great size. But they couldn't get rebounds, Cass, and they gave up 16 second chance points in the first half alone. They got enough stops to win that game, but they couldn't finish the possessions. I mean, this is an old Pat Riley adage, no rebounds, no rings. This is about rebounding more than anything. Jokic is going to get assists. Jokic is going to get points. He's going to do that on Hachimura. But Jokic was going up uncontested for rebounds because he didn't have a body on him. So just putting a body on him, whoever that is, I mean, he had 16 rebounds in the first half the offensive rebounding was untenable for the Lakers. So don't pay attention to, who is assigned to Jokic. Don't pay attention to that storyline as much who gets the ball, because in the second half, the Nuggets only had 2 offensive rebounds and the Lakers won that half. They have to feel good about their chances with that situation more than who is actually assigned to Jokic.
RJ, before we get into that, I know someone who's not paying attention to that storyline, and that's Michael Malone. Listen to what he said pregame and how fed up he is of hearing about this adjustment.
Once again, we've seen this before, and Nicola's going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. There's the first time I've ever been in a series up 1-0, and the series is over in everybody's eyes because they put Rui Hachimura on Nikola Jokic for 6 possessions. So let's see how it plays out tonight.
I mean, it's like Rui Hachimura is like calling him Mike, but that's another story. What do you think?
Wow. It's a very comforting place to be arrogant when you have Nikola Jokic on your team. Like he said, Nikola Jokic is going to figure it out. And then he says, and then we'll figure it out around Nikola Jokic. That's for a reason. Great players make for great coaches. Make no mistake about that. And so I think, go ahead.
Plus, the Nuggets, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody the Nuggets are favored. That's what Michael Malone is playing into. Oh yeah, we have no chance. That's right, no chance. Lakers are going to win in 5. That's their brand.
He's not playing into that. He's playing into, you guys think, and he's playing it a very different, in my opinion. He's not playing the underdog role. He's like, I know it's the first time ever I've been up 1-0. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So he's showing a level of confidence / arrogance of that. Oh, you guys think because he guarded him for 6 possessions? Well, we'll figure that out, or Nikola will figure that out. And so I think he's playing it from a point of arrogance and not arrogance in a bad way, because look, Jason Tatum, humbly, I'm one of the best players in the world, which is true. From a very humbly, Nikola Jokic is, top 2-3 player in the world, wherever you want to rank him. He's going to figure that out. And so the confidence you see from Mike Malone is that that's what he's banking on, is that his team and his best player will.
And sometimes confidence is what separates teams, specifically in the playoffs. We'll talk more about this game as the show goes along. But the Eastern Conference Finals kicked off last night. Miami went into Boston and showed the world and the playoffs yet again that it's hard to deny Jimmy freaking buckets.
I just play hard. That's what, MVP caliber players do. They do everything incredibly well.
Puts up the shot and drills it right in the face of Malcolm Brogdon. Butler on the right side has to put it up. Down! A dagger 3 by Butler to push the lead to 10.
If you want to talk the talk, you better walk the walk.
We still don't care what none of y'all think. We don't care if you pick us to win. We go out there and we hoop. We play basketball the right way, knowing that we always got a chance.
All right, let's dive into this one, taking a look at the winners and losers from last night's game. And Richard, I'm going to start with you. Give me a winner coming out of Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Look, I think the Heat, they are the type of team, when they get a stranglehold of the series, or when they figure out the areas that they can outwork you, whether it's on the glass, in the paint. Whenever they figure that space out, that's when they become very dangerous. I still think the Boston Celtics, I think this is a wake-up call. And look, the Boston Celtics needed it against Atlanta. The Boston Celtics needed it against Philly. So maybe this is that Game 1 wake-up call. They lost Game 1 they lost Game 1 against Philly, and they still came back to win the series. So I'm feeling very confident about Boston still.
Okay, but in terms of Jimmy Butler specifically, because we have him as one of our winners, just, we talk so much about playoff Jimmy, and he doesn't like hearing that's a real thing. But, I mean, in reality, what are you seeing out of him and, how he's leading this undermanned, if you really look at it, Heat team?
Well, I think you go back, if you look at Jimmy's career in Minnesota, right? Like he had a bunch of different paths. But when he was in Minnesota, he felt like he wasn't considered the leader. He wasn't considered the guy that they were going to bet on. Same thing when it happened to Philly. In Philly, he felt it. So I think when Jimmy is in Miami, he has an organization that is pointing to him and saying, we are going to build around you. We are going to follow your competitive edge. And for Jimmy, I think the belief in him, he just eats off that. He feeds off that because he knows that team goes as he goes. When you're talking about offensively, when you talk about defensively, my old buddy Channing Frye called him Batman. He says he has no superpowers. But you mess around with Batman, you're going to have some problems, right? And I think that's what he is. He doesn't have these superpowers like a LeBron James, like a Giannis. But at the end of the day, he's still one of them dudes. And I think he's proving it every single time he steps on the court.
And he held one of those other dudes, in the fourth quarter specifically. Strong defense on Tatum. He held him to 38% shooting, wind guarded by Butler. All others were 60% shooting. Brian, give us a loser, if you will, in that game one.
Fourth quarter Tatum. We've seen him sort of be up and down in the postseason. For him not to get a shot in the fourth quarter, I mean, I know Jimmy was doing a good job on him, and they had a game plan to bring help, as you see on these plays here. But come on, man. No shots in the fourth quarter. 3 turnovers. No shots. And we just saw Joel Embiid the last round just sort of disappear down the stretch of these games. And, I kind of feel like the Celtics got up at the half in this game and thought that they had control. They must not have been paying attention to how good the Heat are, and Tatum was at the forefront of that.
And so what about your winner for game one?
Yeah, Heat culture, man. I mean, same exact thing. The Heat are down at halftime, just like they were down in the play-in, just like they've been down other times in this postseason, and they just handled their business. They didn't look at one iota. They started that third quarter like, okay, now we're going to take over. The thing about Pat Riley, A, B, C, always be competing. Be competing when you got 3 undrafted guys out there. Be competing in December. Be competing in May. Be competing when you're down at the half in a playoff game. That's what they're going to do. That's what they did again. And they've 3 series in a row, 1-0. How do you play as an 8 seed? You don't be an 8 seed because you take home court right out of the gate. They've done it again.
And Filipino Jackson reminding people just how great of a coach he is. If people, he's always been this steady, he's a great coach. But the fact that he hasn't won Coach of the Year in his whole career, that storyline coming up again, I think people are understanding. And if you're watching the game, it is almost possession by possession he has his hands in. RJ, let's finish with this. As we're on the coaching topic, who is your final loser from game one?
Well, okay, I'm going to adjust my loser statement because I want to give context to it. And, sometimes they say you either win or you learn a lesson. So I'm not going to say that Mazzulla is a loser. What I'm going to say is that I think he's learned some valuable lessons here. In his first year as a head coach, he is coaching one of the best, most talented teams in the NBA. There's going to be lessons learned. And I think that was part of his pushback when he heard that question. He was like, we were prepared the first 3 quarters. Like, we were prepared for this game. It's a matter of whether or not our guys want to continue to execute through 4 quarters. And that's obviously not what they did. And I have to compliment him. Even after their Game 5 loss in Philly, he switched, went to the double big lineup, and that helped seal the series, getting those final 2 wins. So I think Joe Mazzulla probably learned the most. I won't call him a loser, but he definitely learned the most about his group, how to navigate them, and what to do down the stretch.
And Brian, the timeouts have defined a lot of this first year for Joe Mazzulla, but what were your thoughts on him not calling a timeout during that 46-point third quarter by the Heat?
Yeah, his answer for why he didn't call a timeout was not an acceptable answer. He said it was because he called 2 timeouts in the first quarter. Okay, now I have to say this. I covered this Philly series. I've almost never seen a coach go through a series like that where he was sort of going like this and sort of being defiant one days and submissive other days, and his players calling him out quasi and then congratulating him. Cass, I think he's a really intelligent guy, and I think he's going to be a really good head coach. But I want to be clear, he's thrashing around in the deep end of the pool. That doesn't mean he won't find his footing, and he did in the last series, and he probably will in this series. But I've never seen a coach have this type of run in my career covering the league. That doesn't mean it won't work, but like the Missoula experience in the last round was amazing, and we're off to the races again in the conference finals.
Yeah, it's certainly an experience, and he's learning on the fly, and his team is learning with him, but also they have so much experience, so it's an interesting dynamic. But RJ, I want to ask you, how many times have you watched The Town just in general? Because apparently
probably
he
4 or
watches
5
it
times. 4 or 5 times.
in your life.
4 or 5 times. Yeah, in my life.
Joe Mazzulla watches The Town 4 times in a week. So I guess that's part of. You didn't hear this story? You're on the internet. Just check it out as we look at these warm-ups, as we get ready for Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals, just minutes away. As you're watching Hoop Streams live on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and the ESPN app. Denver is up a game after Joker's triple-double. We're looking at LeBron James warming up. The Lakers, though, have shown an ability to bounce back this postseason, going a perfect 4-0 in games following the loss. We'll see if that trend continues as Game 2 is just moments away.
Shaq physically was the most dominant player we have ever seen. Backboards were getting broken.
That was a really good shot.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
Everybody was hating on you and insulting on TikTok about the hair.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Or getting jumped on. But how do you keep such thick skin?
Oh, because I don't care.
For those who really know, you could see me twirling in the background of that answer. Brian, I don't know if you know this, but we're in the presence of a social media icon.
I'm aware.
Richard Jefferson. And look, RJ, we know you have
Cash. Just take social media off. Just take social media title out of it. Just icon.
Okay. Let's move on. So we know you have a good eye for what's hot on social media because you're on it like all the time. So the trend on TikTok where people try out products and say TikTok made me buy it. We're gonna flip it to NBA hot takes because we saw a lot of hot takes recently, and we want to know if you're buying them or not. So let's start with this one we saw after Game 1. Great game. The Lakers got into their stuff a little too late. They have confidence going into Game 2. You buying this?
Oh, I love it. 100%. 100% I'm buying this. This is the old Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Thank you.
He steals the ball from Will Smith. He goes for the hero shot. But yeah, I'm buying that. Anytime we can see cute kids airballing like in bitty basketball, I'm ready.
I don't know if that, meme is actually helpful. It says confidence, but they come up short. I don't know. Next up,
it's fine.
To be honest, the Lakers would have won if Russell was actually playing, but without him, they lose this series. Russell can't be a ghost in Game 2. Brian, I'm going to ask you this. Do you agree with that?
Whenever he's played well in this postseason, the Lakers have won. They're undefeated when he scores 17 points. So I don't know if they have to have him to win, but if he plays well, it makes a big difference. But again, they got to rebound. I'm telling you, if they rebound better, the entire conversation around the Lakers, Hachimura, everything else, D'Angelo Russell is going to change.
I mean, are you listening, Darvingham? Let's go. Next up, we saw one coming out of Daryl Morey's presser. Check this out. Joel Embiid should ask for a trade and get the hell out of Philly after what Daryl Morey said. #run. RJ, you buying this?
I'm not buying run, but all great players, they listen to everything. Players, GMs, they listen to articles. They know it. They're keeping track. Hence the famous Steph Curry. What are they going to say now? What are they going to say now? And so I think he should be paying attention. And I think this. We've seen the video. Speaking of social media, I'm not going to jump. Never mind. I'm not going to jump because I feel like I know what else is coming. But I'm going to say this lastly. Joel Embiid, stay put. I think Philly, you got a great fan base. You got a team that's willing to build around you. Stay put.
I mean, things fell apart quick after that loss. Next one. If Draymond Green is not re-signed, then the Warriors are a lottery team next season. Brian, are you buying this?
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Do they still have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson? Okay. I mean, if they don't keep Draymond Green, they're obviously going to be a very different team, which is probably why they're going to keep him. But let's get a grip, everybody. Get a grip.
No, 100% they should keep this man. Like, they're not, I don't want, well, okay, if the question is, will they be a lottery team? The answer is no. But I think Draymond makes them a championship team. Well, obviously, Steph does, obviously, the whole thing. But Draymond is that final piece that allows them to still continually play different than everyone else.
All right, this last one, don't come for me, Lakers fans. This is our producer Luna's favorite one, where he said, when the Lakers lose, the world wins. What? What do you think about that, Brian? RJ, take on that?
That's rude. I thought it was like the Knicks or Boston Celtics. I thought it was one of those two. When those two lose, like the rest of the world wins. I guess the Lakers, are they the most hated team in the NBA?
I mean, Brian, do you think they're the most hated team?
Let me tell you something. I was just in Paris. Let me tell you how many non-Lakers jerseys I saw. 0. Every single NBA paraphernalia that I saw while I was in Paris, not Tony Parker, not Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
It was Lakers gear. The world loves the Lakers. There's a big group of non-Laker fans, but I got news for you. If the only thing in the world was Lakers, the NBA would still exist. I'm just going to leave it at that. I know that's annoying sometimes, but more people seem to root for the Lakers than root against them. I hate to break that to Luna.
Facts are facts. So what you're trying to say is that we're going to have a lot of people. Wait, there's a poll. 82% of people don't follow RJ on TikTok. What? Luna is a hater. This is our producer right now. Let's just get to the main attraction as we're trying
82% of people in the world?
I don't know.
Basically, 16% of or 18% of the world don't like me. 20% of the world love me. 13% of the world wants me to just get off social media. Add those up.
Okay, let's add this up. As we're getting ready for Game 2, let's look at some moments that stuck out to us from Game 1. And Richard, am I crazy, or are these guys? Yes, yeah. Are these guys just being a little too nice in a conference final playoff game? Like, remember the '80s reaction to Joker's 3? You know, the Murray LeBron thumbs up that we got. We don't have the video right now, but you guys watched the game. So, you know, and then, like, we're used to the nasty moments between the Lakers and Nuggets. Like, it was a little too...
They don't have enough prior history, or like they don't have enough prior history to hate each other. The bubble was, you know, but that was a long time ago. So a lot of different players. I think a lot of times, you know, the intenseness comes from having to do it. And trust me, seeing somebody's ugly face for one game, that doesn't bother you that much.
Yeah.
Seeing it 2-3 games, it starts to get on your nerve. By game 5, 6, 7, that's when it starts to fire up. So I'm not surprised to see, this is like a boxing match. They're just sparring right now. They're testing each other out. They're feeling what's going on. Do I want to see more fight? Do I want to see more fire? 100%. But this is what goes on. I'll go back to when LeBron James hit the shot over Steph Curry in the play-in game. He's talking about, I can't see. And Steph Curry basically turned and looked at him with just respect. Just looked at him with respect, like, hey, I've hit enough of those tough shots.
Brian, you said it's Game 1.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I promise you, once this series, you know, once the Lakers win a game in this series, whether it's tonight or it's on over the weekend, it's going to get prickly. That's the nature of it, I promise. And, you know, this kind of reminds me of, like, this sometimes happens, like, in golf. I know that sounds strange, but, you know, where a player will congratulate another player in a match for making a good shot, but by the end of the match, they're stepping in their line and not giving them any putts. That's just the nature of a duel. And so I think we're going to see that really start to change even beginning tonight.
All right, Richard, let's roll something you said recently.
But with the Shaq, there was no guarding him. And Draymond, you're my boy. And they talk, we bring up and pick and roll. Dre, I love your defense. Like, he is like, the way he has played defense has really changed the game. The ability, bro, you were not going in 02. You were not with Shaq, bro. They changed how you had to construct your roster. You had to have 2 or 3 bigs just for fouls. He has been the most dominant player in the history of the game of basketball, period. Not LeBron, not Steph, not Magic, MJ. Like, Shaq physically was the most dominant player we have ever seen, like maybe will ever see, because of his sheer size, athleticism, skill, footwork, hands, everything. There was no guarding him.
I mean, Was that the time?
I just want to apologize. I just want to apologize to my mom for all those cuss words, and I'm going to blame JJ Redick. We normally drink on the podcast, and he only had like champagne and whiskey, and it was warm whiskey.
It went straight to your head.
And warm.
It went to your head.
I was
It's
riled
okay.
up. So I apologize. I apologize for all the bleeping, everyone.
We've all been there. But back to basketball. How does Jokic's dominance compare?
It's different. It's so different. Like, and I think when people were calling him LeBron James without a vertical, that's really who he is. You only see guys like Luka, LeBron. Like, there were years where you were seeing James Harden, but I think these guys impact winning at a far greater rate than James Harden does. But not many guys can give you 15 assists on any given night and do it multiple times, 14, 15 rebounds, the amount of points that he does. So, like, there's things that he does better than LeBron. There's things that LeBron does better than him. But as far as impacting the game from all facets, outthinking everyone, being a step ahead of the game, a lot of his passes, he's passing players open like a receiver in football. Well, like a guy could be guarded, but by the time this ball gets to him, he's going to be open. The only people I've ever played with that had that ability to pass like that are LeBron James and Jason Kidd. All of these guys are triple-double guys, and Jokic falls in that same category.
Yeah, that's the thing about Jokic. He is a hybrid. He shoots the ball like Dirk, the way he doesn't really have to jump and sort of fades back. He passes the ball like LeBron. He plays on the interior, not quite like Shaq, but, pick your other star big man from the times. It's the hybrid, the blend together that makes him unique. He doesn't do it with power until he has to do it with power. He doesn't do it with finesse until he has to do it with finesse. And good luck trying to affect his shot. Like, you couldn't defend Dirk's shot. You're not defending that high release on a 7-footer. So we have never seen a player like this, and we've never seen a player perform like this. Guys, he is averaging a 30-point triple-double on 56% shooting. Not in a series, in the whole playoffs. Now, in the third series, he's doing that. That is Wilt Chamberlain type stuff, okay? And he's doing it in a way that's harder to guard than we've almost ever seen a big man before. So I actually think right now, we are maybe at the cusp of an all-time epic series between Anthony Davis and Nikola Jokic. And as someone who's neutral in this series, doesn't have a fan base on either side, I just want to watch the game. I am potentially enjoying tonight, Game 2, Round 2. I mean, AD went 40-10, okay, in Game 1. I don't think that Jokic and everybody else can be able to stop AD. I don't think the Lakers can be able to stop Jokic. So I am looking for Round 2 in a potential incredible, historic meeting between these two future Hall of Fame centers. And that is what I am excited about. You're not stopping either of them. So let's buckle in and watch Round 2 and let the best player for tonight win.
As Michael Malone was, as you guys said, confident because they have Nikola Jokic. Darvin Ham, after Game 1, said, "We'll be okay, trust me." And he's confident because he has Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So, guys, the game-picking corgi, he picked the Nuggets to win Game 1, and he went with the Lakers for Game 2. RJ, you agree? You agree with we don't even know the Nuggets.
I like cats.
Says no one ever. Sorry. Do you like cats?
Oh, wow, cat. You just exposed you. I was making a joke. You want to expose yourself.
I have a real reason.
It's fine. Honestly, people that have cats drink beer through straws.
He's not, though. He's defeated. He thought that the Warriors were coming back.
The Warriors lost. Yeah.
Okay,
he was close.
He was in France.
Sorry, I was in France. I've been so out of touch.
You can use that excuse for the next 3 weeks. I allow you to. Thanks for watching Hoop Streams. Enjoy Game 2 from Denver. We'll be back on Saturday for Game 3. For RJ and Brian, I'm Cassidy. See ya.